You are going to die. Not today, not tomorrow, but the clock is already running. And right now, in this moment, you are spending it watching a video instead of doing the thing you actually want to do with your life. Don't feel bad. Your ancestors did the same thing, except their version of this was lying in the shade, watching clouds, with nowhere to be and no one to answer to. For 300,000 years, every single morning, your ancestors woke up and asked themselves one question. What do I feel like doing today? Not, what does my boss need? Not, what is on the calendar? Not, how do I get ahead? Just, what do I feel like doing? And here's the part that should genuinely disturb you. They had more free time than you do right now, better health than you do right now, more meaningful relationships than you do right now, with zero technology, zero money, and zero concept of a career. So what exactly did we gain by giving all of that up? Before we go further, I need you to erase the image in your head. The dirty caveman, barely surviving, running from predators, starving every winter, brutal, short, miserable lives. That image was invented by people who needed you to feel grateful for factories. Here's what the actual evidence shows. Researchers who spent years observing the last remaining communities on Earth still living without agriculture, communities in Africa, in South America, in Australia, all found the exact same number. 15 to 20 hours a week. That is the entire prehistoric work week, not per day, per week. Everything else, the remaining 50 or 60 hours, was completely theirs. No obligation, no output, no justification required. And before you say those are modern people and not ancient ones, the bones answer that. When researchers line up ancient hunter-gatherer skeletons next to early farming skeletons, the difference is not subtle. Farmers were shorter, nutritional damage visible in the bone tissue, spines showing repetitive strain from doing the same motion day after day after day, teeth rotting from grain, dying younger. The people who came before farming? Taller, stronger, healthier, almost no repetitive damage at all. Their own skeletons were saying, "We were not grinding ourselves into dust." So, if they were not grinding, what were they actually doing? Here's the thing that stops me every time I think about it. If our ancestors were truly in a constant fight for survival, if every waking moment was desperate, then something should not exist. In a cave in southern France, explorers found paintings on the walls, 30,000 years old. Not scratches, not symbols. Horses, lions, rhinoceroses, painted with perspective, with shading, with a sense of movement that belongs in a gallery. Someone crawled deep into a cave, no sunlight, just firelight, and spent hours, maybe days, painting animals on a wall, not for food, not for survival, for beauty. In South Africa, shell beads, 100,000 years old, tiny holes drilled through each one, clearly made to be worn, and the nearest coastline was 20 kilometers away. Someone walked 40 kilometers round trip just to collect shells, then spent hours carefully drilling holes through each one, not to eat, not to protect themselves, to look good. In Germany, a flute, 40,000 years old, carved from a bird bone, 5 holes, perfectly spaced. Whoever made this understood music, understood pitch, spent real time and real skill getting it exactly right. And they made it for the same reason you listen to music right now, because it makes something inside you feel more alive. These people had time, and they filled it the way humans always fill time when no one is demanding their output. Let me walk you through a day. You wake up when your body decides it is done sleeping. The fire from the night before is still going. Someone adds wood. People eat together, talk. Breakfast lasts an hour, not because anyone is slow, because no one is in a rush. Around mid-morning, a small group might head out, to hunt, to gather, but not everyone, not every day. If there is food from 2 days ago, some people just stay. And if you stay, you work on something, sharpen something, weave something, scrape an animal hide until it is soft enough to sleep on. There is no clock, no one watching. You do it because being skilled at things earns respect, because finishing something with your hands feels different from finishing nothing. If the hunt goes out, here is a fact that most people do not know. Humans are one of the only animals on Earth that can run long distances without overheating. Every other animal has to stop, has to pant, has to let its body temperature drop before it can move again. We sweat. We regulate our temperature while we run. So the hunt is not what movies show you. It is not a sprint. It is not chaos. It is a grinding, patient, almost meditative pursuit. Track, jog, wait. 3 to 6 hours, until the animal simply collapses from heat exhaustion. Then it is carried back. Everyone eats. And then, nothing happens. People sit in the shade, talk, play with children, exist together without needing a reason to. Studies of communities still living this way found that adults spend roughly 6 hours a day in what researchers call social time. Not working, not sleeping, just being with other humans, talking, laughing, present with each other in a way that most modern people only experience on vacation. And this was not wasted time. In a world with no courts, no contracts, no police, your survival depends entirely on whether the people around you like you enough to share food when you are struggling. So you invest in those relationships the way your life depends on it, because it does. Then the sun goes down, and this is where something happens that I think is the most quietly beautiful thing in this entire story. Researchers who recorded hours of conversation in communities living without agriculture found a pattern. During the day, conversations were practical. Where are the animals? What plants are ready? Who did not pull their weight? But at night, around the fire, more than 80% of conversations shifted to stories. Stories about how the world began, about ancestors who did impossible things, about what happens after you die, about people who lived somewhere far away and what happened to them. This is where human culture was born, not in buildings, not in institutions, around fires, at night, when stomachs were full and no one was afraid. These were not just stories for entertainment. They were the operating system, shared meaning, shared identity, a sense of why we are here, passed from one generation to the next, through firelight and voice. And then they slept, but not like you do. Before electric light existed, sleep studies confirmed this, historical records confirmed this, humans slept in 2 phases. 4 hours, then a wakeful period of 1 to 2 hours in complete darkness, then 4 more hours. That middle window was used for reflection, for prayer, for the kind of thinking that only happens when the world is completely quiet. When you wake up at 2 a.m. and lie there unable to get back to sleep, that is not insomnia. That is your nervous system doing exactly what it evolved to do. You are not broken. The schedule is. So what changed? About 10,000 years ago, which is nothing in the scale of 300,000, humans in one part of the world started planting seeds, keeping animals, farming. And on the surface, this looks like the obvious win. More food, more people, villages, cities, civilization. But here is what nobody tells you. Farming is a trap. The moment you grow more food, more people survive. More people means you need more food. More food means more farming. More farming means those extra people have to keep farming. Within a few generations, the population exploded past the point where hunting and gathering could feed everyone. There was no going back. Too many mouths. And farming is brutal. Plowing, planting, weeding, harvesting, storing, guarding your grain from animals, guarding it from other people who want what you grew. The skeletons do not lie. Early farmers worked harder, ate worse, and died younger than every human who came before them. And no one chose this. That is the part I cannot let go of. No one sat down and decided to trade their freedom for agriculture. Each generation made one small decision that seemed reasonable that season. And then, enough generations later that no one alive remembered freedom, there were just jobs. The idea that your time belongs to someone else, that you must earn the right to exist through your output, that idea is 10,000 years old. Not human nature, just a very long habit that no one ever stopped to question. So here is where we are. You will spend 90,000 hours working. Your ancestors spent about 20. You sleep in one block and call it rest. They slept in 2 phases, with an hour of silence between them for reflection. You call doing nothing lazy. They called it the afternoon. You dream about a future where you finally have time. Slow mornings, long walks with no destination, making something with your hands, being present with the people you love. Your ancestors were not dreaming about that future. They were living it, every day, as the starting point, not the reward at the end of 40 years. Now, I am not telling you to quit your job. We have medicine now, running water, the ability to survive a bad tooth. These things matter. But here is what I want you to sit with: the restlessness you feel, the sense that something is off, the quiet feeling that you are spending your life on things that do not matter and never quite getting to the things that do. That is not a personal failure. That is 300,000 years of human instinct pressing up against 10,000 years of economic design. You are not lazy for wanting rest. You are not weak for wanting time. You are not broken for feeling like you were built for something other than this. You were. And the fact that you feel that tension, that quiet, persistent sense that there should be more to a day than this, that is not a problem to fix. That is your humanity reminding you of something true. The question is whether you are going to listen.